12 plus 4 plus 4. So we need to add three numbers. And the way I like to do this is to add the smaller numbers, so add the single digit numbers first. So 4 plus 4 is 8, and then we can add the larger number, so add the 12, because with addition, order doesn't matter. So 8 plus 2 is 10, so 1, 0. 1 plus 1 is 2, so our answer is 20. Now 43 times 0. So any number times 0 is 0, so that's our answer. 109 minus 10. So we can write this out as a column subtraction, making sure that we have our digits lined up on the right hand side. Now 9 minus 0 is 9. We can't do 0 minus 1, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 10 minus 1 is 9, and 0 minus nothing is 0. So our answer is 99. But we could have also solved this using mental methods. Starting from 109, if we subtracted 9, that would give us 100. Then from 100, we can subtract one more, and that gives us our answer. So subtracting 9 and then subtracting 1 is the same as subtracting 10. 6 times 4. So if we don't know our 4 times table, we can count in steps of 4. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and the sixth multiple of 4 is 24. So that's our answer. Now 80 divided by 1. Any number divided by 1 is just that number. So our answer is 80. 499 plus 50. So we can set this out as a column addition. 9 plus 0 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. So 1, 4. And 1 plus 4 is 5. So our answer is 549. We could have also used mental methods to solve this. From 499, if we add one more, that takes us to 500. And then from 500, we can add another 49 to get our answer. Because if we add 1 and then add 49, we've added 50 altogether. 354 plus 263. We can set this out as a column addition. 4 plus 3 is 7. 5 plus 6 is 11, so 1, 1. 1 plus 3 plus 2 is 6. So our answer is 617. 43 times 5. So we can set this out as a column multiplication. 3 times 5 is 15. If we don't know that, we can count 5, 10, the third one is 15. Then we need to multiply this 4 in our tens by 5. But because it's in our tens, we need to write a 0 in our ones. Now 4 times 5, so the fourth multiple of 5 is 20. Now we add up our answer lines, and our answer is 215. But we could also use short multiplication. 3 times 5 is 15, so 1, 5. And then 4 times 5 is 20, plus the 1 at the top is 21. So we have our answer. Now here we're adding fractions with the same denominator. So we know that we keep the denominators the same and just add the numerators. 3 plus 3 is 6, so our answer is 6/7. 72 divided by 8. So, remember, a division is really the opposite of multiplication. It's the inverse. So if we have 72 divided by 8, the question is really asking us what times 8 is 72. Now you might know that 9 times 8 is 72, so our answer is 9. But if you don't know that, the other way to work it out is to count up in 8s until you reach 72. So we can count 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, and the 9th one is 72. So because we counted 9 numbers, we know that 72 divided by 8 is 9. Now we have a column addition, so we can set this out making sure that it's lined up on the right hand side. So we have our ones, tens, hundreds and thousands digits lined up. 6 plus 8 is 14, so 1, 4. 1 plus 1 plus 5 is 7. 9 plus 3 is 12, so 1, 2. And 1 plus 4 is 5. So our answer is 5,274. Now we have 945 minus 178. So we can set this out as a column subtraction. We can't do 5 minus 8, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 15 minus 8 is 7. We can't do 3 minus 7, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. And 13 minus 7 is 6. 8 minus 1 is 7, so our answer is 767. Now 2 times 5 times 3. Well, 2 times 5 is 10, and then we can take that 10 and multiply it by the last digit in our multiplication, the last number. So multiply 10 by 3. That gives us 30, so that's our answer. Now 36.05 times 10. The way to multiply decimals by 10 is to write the number out, then write the decimal point under the decimal point in our number. Now we're multiplying, which means the number's getting bigger, so the digits are moving to the left. And we're multiplying by 10, which has 1 0, so the digits move 1 place to the left. So we can move this 3 down 1 square to the left, do the same with this 6, this 0, and this 5, and we have our answer, 360.5. Now 0.03 is what as a percentage? Well, we should know our decimal place values. After the ones we have our tenths and we have our hundredths, and all we have here is a 3 in the hundredths. But percent means over 100, so we have 3%, and it's really important to write 3%, not 3 over 100%, because the percent already means over 100. Now we have decimal addition, so we can write out our question making sure that our decimal points are lined up, because that means our ones and tenths columns will be lined up as well. We need to also line up the decimal point in our answer, and now we can just add as we normally would. 9 plus 3 is 12, so 1, 2. 1 plus 2 plus 5 is 8, so our answer is 8.2. Now 348 minus 458. So we can set this out as a column subtraction, making sure that we have our digits lined up on the right hand side, because that means that our ones, tens, hundreds, thousands and 10,000s columns will be lined up. Now 8 minus 8 is 0. We can't do 4 minus 5, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 14 minus 5 is 9. Now we can't do 2 minus 4, and if we go to the left we have a 0, and we can't write 1 less than 0, so first we need to go to the left again to our 10,000s, and we can 1 less, 1 in front. Then we can do the same thing. 1 less than 10 is 9, and that means we can put 1 in front of the 2 to make 12. Now 12 minus 4 is 8, 9 minus nothing is 9, 0 minus nothing is 0. So our answer is 9,890. Now here we need to find 2/5 of 30, and it's really important to notice that we're not finding 1/5, we're finding 2/5. So we start by dividing by the denominator like we normally would, and 30 divided by 5 is 6. But then, because we have 2 in our numerator, we need to take the answer to the division, so take the 6 and multiply it by the numerator. 6 times 2 is 12, so 12 is our answer. Now 20 times 40, and because we have numbers with zeros on the ends, we don't want to use column multiplication for this. We can work this out mentally. We know that 2 times 4 is 8, and that's going to help us work out 20 times 40. The answer here is 800, because 2 times 4 is 8, but then because we have a total of 2 end zeros in our question, we need 2 end zeros in our answer. So that's 800. Now 5,316 divided by 6. So 5 divided by 6 we can't do, so let's take the first 2 digits together and work out 53 divided by 6. 48 is the closest multiple of 6 we can get to 53, which is still less than 53. And because 6 times 8 is 48, we can write 8 in our answer line. Now we subtract, and 53 minus 48 is 5, and we bring down the 1. So we have 51 divided by 6. Again, the closest multiple of 6, which is still less than 51, is 48. And that, as we could see here, is 8 times 6. Now we subtract 51 minus 48 is 3. We bring down the 6, and we have 36 divided by 6. Now 36 is 6 times 6, so that's the final digit of our answer. And to show that we don't have a remainder, we can write minus 36 and 0. We could also solve this using short division. We can't do 5 divided by 6, so again we take the first 2 digits together. 53 divided by 6 is 8, remainder 5, because 8 times 6 is 48, but then we need 5 more to get to 53. So now we have 51 divided by 6. That's 8 remainder 3, because 8 times 6 is 48, but then we need 3 more to get to 51. Now, 36 divided by 6 is exactly 6. So, our answer is 886. 1/3 of 507. So, we need to work out 507 divided by 3. So to start, we have 5 divided by 3. Well, the first multiple of 3 is 3, and because that's 1 times 3, we can write 1 in our answer line. We subtract, we bring down, and now we have 20 divided by 3. Well, the closest multiple of 3, which is still less than 20, is 18. And because 18 is 6 times 3, we need 6 in our answer line. Again, we subtract 20 minus 18 is 2, and we bring down our last digit. So we have 27 divided by 3. Well, we know that 9 times 3 is exactly 27, and to show that we don't have a remainder, we can subtract 27 and get 0. So our answer is 169. We could also use short division to work this out. 5 divided by 3 is 1 remainder 2, because 1 times 3 is 3, but then we need 2 more to get to 5. 20 divided by 3 is 6 remainder 2, because 6 times 3 is 18, but then we need 2 more to get to 20. And 27 divided by 3 is exactly 9, because 9 times 3 is 27. So our answer is 169. Now we're dividing a decimal by 1,000, and the way I like to do this is to write out the number, write a decimal point below the decimal point. Now we're dividing, so the digits are going to move to the right, so the number gets smaller. And we're dividing by 1,000. There's 3 zeros in 1,000, so the digits are going to move 3 squares to the right. So if we copy this 1 down, 1, 2, 3 squares to the right, do the same with this 7, this 6, and this 4. So we have 0.4671. And with decimals, we need something in our ones always. So if a square's empty, we can always write a 0. So our answer is 0.4671. 28 times 53. We can use column multiplication. So we start with 8 times 3. We start by multiplying the digits in our ones. 8 times 3 is 24, so we can write 2, 4. Now, onto our tens digit, we have 2 times 3, which is 6, but we need to add the 2 up here, so we need to write 8. Now, we can cross out our working, and now we're multiplying by this 5 in our tens. And because it's in our tens, we need a 0 in our ones column. 8 times 5 is 40, so 4, 0. And onto that, our last digit, 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Now we just add up our answer lines. So our answer is 1,484. Now 31.8 times 4. We can write this out as a column multiplication. But because it's a decimal, we need to remember to write the decimal point in our answer. Because there's one decimal place in the question, we know that there will be one decimal place in the answer. Now 8 times 4 is 32. Next we have 1 times 4, but because it's the second digit from the right, we need to write 0, and then 1 times 4 is 4. Now 3 times 4, but because it's the third digit from the right, we need to write 2 zeros before doing 3 times 4, which is 12. Now we can just add up our answer lines. We could also use short multiplication to answer this. Again, if there's a decimal point in the question, we need to make sure it's written in our answer as well. Now 8 times 4 is 32, so 3, 2. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. And 3 times 4 is 12. So our answer is 127.2. Now here we have 2 and a little 3, which we say as 2 cubed, plus 2 and a little 2, which we say as 2 squared. Now 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2. This 3 means multiply the number by itself 3 times. And 2 squared, this 2 means multiply the number by itself. So 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, and 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4, and we're adding those together, so 8 plus 4 is 12. 1 and 1/3 times 2. So we can split this up, we can multiply our whole number by 2, so 1 times 2 is 2, and then we can multiply our fraction by 2. But remember, when we're multiplying fractions, we only multiply the numerator. So 1 times 2 is 2, but the denominator stays the same. Now we can put this all together. We have 2 and 2/3 because we're adding what we got from multiplying our whole number to what we got from multiplying our fraction. We could also use improper fractions to solve this. So 1 and 1/3 is 4/3 as an improper fraction because the denominator stays the same, and then 1 times 3 is 3 plus 1 is 4. And we're timesing by 2, so again, if it's easier, write over 1 to remind yourself that we only multiply the numerator. 4 times 2 is 8, the denominator stays the same, and 8/3, if we change that back to a mixed number, 8 divided by 3 is 2, remainder 2, the denominator stays the same, so we get the same answer. Now 0.2 is how many tenths? Well, if you know your decimal place values, this question's easy, because the first digit after the decimal point always tells us how many tenths we have, so we have 2/10. Now 26.8 minus 6.12. We can write this out as a column subtraction, but it's really important that we line up our decimal points, because if our decimal points are lined up, then our place values won't be lined up and column subtraction won't work. So we need to line up the decimal points in the question. Then we can write zeros in empty squares, and we need to copy down the decimal point into our answer. We can't do 0 minus 2, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 10 minus 2 is 8, 7 minus 1 is 6, 6 minus 6 is 0, and 2 minus nothing is 2. So our answer is 20.68. 5/6 minus 2/3. So when we're subtracting fractions, just like when we're adding fractions, we need the denominators to be the same, but in this question, the denominators are different. So we need to use our knowledge of equivalent fractions to make them the same. Now 6 is a multiple of 3, 6 is in the 3 times table, so the easiest way to get the denominators the same would be to change 2/3 into sixths. Now 3 times 2 is 6, and what we do to the bottom we have to do to the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. So instead of 5/6 minus 2/3, we can write 5/6 minus 4/6 because we know that that's the same as 2/3. So now we have fractions with the same denominator. So we keep the denominator the same in our answer, and 5 minus 4 is 1, so our answer is 1/6.